It was a beautiful place outside, but there were multiple places all over Japan where the hearts of aspiring football players might get broken in the future. The towering blue fortress stood against the sky like a giant, its walls gleaming under the morning sun, as its heart burned a single purpose carved boldly into its front: Inazuma Lock. One by one, buses climbed the winding road towards the facility, their engines roaring with anticipation. Inside, young athletes pressed their faces to the windows, their eyes wide with awe and determination. This was no ordinary training ground. This was the stage where the next generation would gather, clash, and rise to greatness. The building's size was overwhelming, almost suffocating, as if to test the courage of anyone daring to enter. But to those who dreamed of reaching the top, it wasn't a wall, it was a gateway. Beyond those doors awaited a new world of rivalry, passion, an unrelenting challenge, and for every player stepping inside, one thought echoed in their hearts: this is where my story begins. Little by little, the players arrived and waited for the organizers to show up as well. When almost all the players had gathered, the last four entered together as a group, even though that was pure coincidence. A blonde young man looked around the entrance hall and spotted a player he was familiar with, immediately approaching him. "Yo, weren't you on Sanctum as well all those years ago?" While he did age, he hadn't grown all that much from his junior high days, so Noboru Ashiya had to look up to meet the eyes of Hikaru. "Oh, you? Yeah, I played for Ancient Dark back then, but should I know you?" Just hearing those words, Hikaru felt like he was challenged, and a few of the close-by players couldn't suppress a chuckle having heard the exchange. Those are some big words for someone that didn't even make it into Team Zero. Tales from 8 years ago, but for these players it shaped their entire self, so it was understandable that they still held it in high regards. Team Zero here or there, that was 8 years ago now, you know? So resting on your laurels isn't the best thing to do either. Then I hope for your sake that you improved as well, because I didn't just sit around since then. After this quick exchange, the two separated again, but the air was charged, and everyone in the room started to feel the need to prove themselves. Conversations in the room continued, and inspired by those two, there were a lot of verbal showdowns. It continued until Shugo Nikaido entered the room and asked for silence as he introduced himself and the program. "Please quiet down." The large group of players slowly quieted down and turned to look at the podium. "Thank you very much. I'm glad that all of you accepted the invitation to this project. Today is the start of the Inazuma Lock project. All across Japan, footballers will be trained to become the next generation of the G3 League, and you represent the Kanto region." Nikaido looked around at the gathered footballers' reactions and grinned. "Many of you won't remember me, but I am Shugo Nikaido. Until 15 years ago, I was the coach of Kirkwood Junior High, and when I was still an active player, I was part of Team Arashi Tokyo. I am deeply honored to participate in this project as your coach, but enough about me. Next, I'll hand the floor to the head of this project, a man who wishes to be introduced as the hero of Japanese football." With those words, the crowd grew restless again, as two more men entered the room. One leaned against the wall, watching the players with a bizarre grin, while the other stepped up to the podium. "Hello there, noobs. You probably all know me, the legendary player who created Raimon's legendary beginnings, who saved the world from aliens and brought home countless international titles. Yes, it's me, the one and only 6-star character in the world, Kakeru Megane." Although Megane was known to those deeply involved in the football scene, this group of players had no real connection to him, so there were little reactions to his appearance. "Whatever, you'll get to know me soon enough. What matters is that I see potential in you. You may only be 1-star or at best 2-star characters right now, but with my help, you might just reach 4 or even 5 stars. Megane pushed up his glasses with one finger, as if he had just spoken the most inspiring words ever. "Over the course of the 5 phases of Inazuma Lock, I'll turn you noobs into true professionals, provided you last long enough to remain in the project." He laughed like a true supervillain, stretched out his hand, and pointed at the participants. "You were all informed in your letters which team you belong to, so now you can head to your rooms and get to know the rest of your team. Your first match will take place in 2 days. Later today, we'll announce which teams will face each other." And with that, the 3 organizers left the assembly hall and retreated to their respective workplaces. It only took a moment until the players, one after the other, followed them through the door to enter the actual main building of the Inazuma Lock project. Many didn't know yet who the remaining team members would be, so getting to their dorm room as fast as possible was the most important thing for all of them right now. When our heroes arrived in the room, not only did they realize that the four of them would play together, they also saw their last teammate, their goalkeeper, Shinya Ishibashi. At the moment they arrived, he was sitting at a laptop, scrolling through what looked like an online shop specifically made for Inazuma Lock. At first the four just went to the beds and placed their luggage on them, marking their territory. Glancing at the others, they were already calculating who was the strongest in this room. At some point, Shinya sat down at a table next to the man wearing headphones and just tried to get something going in the room. Okay, why don't we introduce each other first? My name is Shinya Ishibashi, 20 years old. I mainly played on field football pitches with some randoms, so when I got invited to this project through a raffle, I took my chance and here I am. I will play as the goalkeeper of this team. Nice to meet you. His apparent lack of experience took the rest of the room by surprise, and the redhead decided to speak up in the situation. So we got put in a team with a goalie that only ever played with kids? Wow, I guess I have to carry even harder than I first imagined. Huh? Shinya knew that he was here for sheer luck, but he wouldn't stand for such disrespect, and pushed back his chair with force and walked up to Renkai staring down at him. You think you're so much better than me, Firehead? Then why are you here with me in Team Z? All of us got put into this team because we have the lowest abilities. Sure, we can change it in the future, but right now, we are the worst. You are in no way better than me. Things got heated, and Renkai didn't hesitate to stand up with a clenched fist. He was in fact taller than Shinya, and heat emanated from his body. Wanna go? I'm not afraid of some headband-wearing loser. Huh? This headband is inspired by a legend. Don't you dare disrespect him. They were basically already at each other's throats when the voice of the glasses-wearing player cut through them. I got pretzel sticks if anyone wants some. The utter randomness of it sliced the tension in half and made both Shinya and Renkai scoff, but the goalkeeper didn't let that stop him from at least walking past his fiery opponent and slamming against him. Yeah, that's right. We shouldn't fight. We have to play that team after all. Let's go to one of the fields here. I wanna see if you guys are more than just people who talk big. After the players got to know each other a bit, Shinya gathered up the group to test their football skills. On football field 1 of Inazuma Lock, they would play a 2 vs 2 with Shinya as the goalkeeper. When they arrived there, 2 groups were already practicing as well, but they simply went to the goal in the other half and didn't interact with them. Quickly, the players positioned themselves at the 10-meter line and waited for Shinya to kick the ball and start the match. Hikaru and Alexander versus Renkai and Naoki. And the instant he did, each of them ran to the position they anticipated the ball would come. Let's go, you dogs! Show me what you've got! In this instant, it already became clear that some of them had thought a few steps ahead, their plans in full motion already. However, it was also obvious that there was still a lack of teamwork between them. Renkai made a dash for the ball, keeping Hikaru behind him by blocking with his body. Alexander wasn't far behind either. Only Naoki decided to not go for the ball and instead position himself at the center of the goal. Hikaru had attempted to give a sign to his teammates, but their signals trained by Unlimited Shining and Team Zero were lost in the player that had no contact point with them. So instead it ended up with them double teaming the tall fiery striker. While Alexander tried to block the path of Renkai from behind, Hikaru came from below with a dangerous sliding tackle, not caring much about the safety of who was technically his teammate now. Renkai though couldn't have cared less either, as he simply pushed back Alexander, and without any regards either, he just charged straight through the defending players. In a show of pure strength, he blasted past them, leaving them in the dust, and he couldn't suppress a slight mocking expression, especially at Hikaru who had talked so high and mighty. Always those people who act arrogant and can't back it up, A quick turn of his body followed by a safe pass to Naoki, who was standing completely free in the center. Even when Alexander tried to sprint towards him, he couldn't move fast enough and could only watch as Naoki jumped 5 meters into the sky and kicked the ball towards the goal, the first shot attempt in this match. Shinya was prepared as he had kept a good overview, and as the shot came, he jumped to the side and with a powerful punch he cleared the situation. The ball dropped in the direction of Naoki again and quickly regained possession, but this time Alexander was there to mark him, an attempt to capture the ball. In the center, Hikaru blocked the view of Renkai, and the striker didn't enjoy that. So in that sneaky attempt, the redhead broke away from Hikaru without him even realizing it. The wind flowed in the assistance of Naoki, As he stared down Alexander, in a simple show of speed, he rushed past the half-German and instantly went for a pass to his ally on the other side of the goal. At least, that was the plan. Hikaru had seen passes move much faster, even back in his junior high days, and jumped in at the perfect moment to intercept the ball. Shinya hadn't expected the pass, and for sure not the interception of it, so he had to act quick when the volley shot of Hikaru came. The twist of his feet threw up dirt on the court. His leg muscles coiled, and with the fierceness of a beast, he jumped to clear the ball with yet another punch. And he did exactly that, but the ball randomly flew directly towards Renkai, and that forward was prepared. With full force, he smacked his head against the ball, and it got shot at the goal yet again. Shinya was on the ground. Ori, having acted just a second before, he forced his body to move up as fast as possible. The power of Renkai's header pushed him directly onto the goal line, but he managed to stop that one as well. As a goalkeeper, he was getting pushed to his limits, and that was a feeling he enjoyed more than any other. So when he threw the ball away for them to get it, he added on, "So that's your best? Keep it coming!" He knocked his gloves together and then spread his arms out, inviting them to shoot again. This time, Hikaru was instantly there when the ball dropped, and with the passing skill he had trained for one specific teammate in the past, it floated perfectly in front of Alexander's head. Shinya had barely passed the ball and suddenly it was Ori in his box again. It was obvious that Alexander would go for a header into the short corner, so he jumped for it, trying to catch it. However, this time, he didn't make it in time. The ball grazed his fingertips, but in the end it hit the net of the goal, and the match was determined. In the first showdown between the players of Team Z, the duo of Hikaru and Alexander came out victorious. But the main result was that each of them started to respect one another, even if only a bit more. All of them had to catch their breath, satisfied with the outcome or wanting to prove that they could be better. It was an environment that demanded improvement. Shortly after the first training session ended, a loudspeaker announcement from Megadeth started, and even as they were still recovering, they listened intently. "Hello again, noobs! First, let me announce the matches of the group that probably interests you the least. In Group 5, there will be 3 matches, since they have one more team than the other groups. On Field 1, Team U will play against Team Y. On Field 3, Team V will face Team W. And on Field 2, Team X will take on Team Z. May the best noob win." And with that, it was revealed who the first opponents of our heroes would be. Team X, consisting of Mihoshi Oryo, who once played for Tengawara. Tenko Nunube, a person that had shown his finesse with his hands, keeping opponents at bay. Hikaru Obara, better known as Opal, the strategist of the team, a huge force despite his small stature. Aru Tomoe, the youngest of a set of triplets, who finally wants to prove that he is more than just that. And finally, the man who demanded the most attention, Takatsugu Doha. His deep and piercing voice instantly made it clear who he was, and that was the ace of this team. And this is the end of this first episode of Inazuma Lock. I hope you enjoyed it, and look forward to this first match between Team X and Team Z. Our players already improved a lot for their first training session, so I wonder how it's going to turn out from there. Tune in again, and don't miss another episode, so make sure to subscribe. All that's left to be said from me for now is stay happy, stay healthy, and most importantly, stay cultured. Pyro, out. Bye!